descended as we took to the streets to revel in paradise.
Such a nice place!
Tobago Carnival, we're right here. We're not leave it till we go right down.
It's the greatest, it's the best, it's safe, and it's beautiful.
I love Tobago, baby. Coming back next year. Hey!
Playing pan on the streets is a magical experience. When the band strike up, it's rhythm, steel, and powder. This is Tobago Carnival, pan in paradise.
Tobago is the best.
Tobago Carnival is the new home for the legend of Calypso. Where else can you get sweet Calypso music that gives you that nostalgic feeling?
Soca Titans is we title, is we monarch. We build artists from scratch who can perform with the best. Real Titans of Soca.
When last you've been to a party, plenty women looking so nice. We must be in paradise.
This year, ritual takes on new space and dimension. Traditions will be reimagined, breaking free and taking on new meaning on the road.
I love the energy!
This year, the revelry is bigger and better. More colors, more meaning, great packages for the masqueraders. Tobago Carnival is freedom.
This year promoting safety in all events for Tobago Carnival. This year promoting whining, not minding people business. This year promoting clean fun, security and freedom.
Freedom to be any version of yourself that you choose to be with love and safety. Here, you have permission to be you, uninhibited and free.
So what you waiting on? This year, this October 2024, experience the ritual, revel in paradise, release yourself. From the greatest little island on the planet, this is the Tobago Carnival 2024.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Has made, and so we will rejoice and be glad in it. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord, for who can give life unto himself? So let us remember in all things to give God thanks. We just came out of our budget reading in the house yesterday, and of course we'll talk a little bit more about that this morning. But before we get into all of those conversations, we have to head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
Quality and prices.
Here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. Chief Secretary and Secretary of Finance, Trade and the Economy, Farley Augustine, presented a $3.956 billion budget for the next fiscal year, marking his third and final budget as Finance Secretary. Under the theme Unlocking Tobago's Developmental Potential, the proposed budget exceeds the central government's fiscal 2024 allocation of $2.58 billion. Augustine justified the $3.956 billion request by citing Tobago's population growth from 4.58% in 2011 to 5.05%, which necessitates a review of the DRC ruling. He emphasized the budget represents 5.8% of the national budget, reflecting Tobago population increase and the DRC ruling stipulation. Up next, Minority Leader Kelvon Morris described the THA budget presentation for fiscal 2024 as another failure. Morris expressed little hope that Augustine is making genuine efforts to revive Tobago's struggling economy. He criticized Augustine's third budget presentation, viewing it as a broader economic leadership failure. He expressed concerns about the absence of a clear plan for how the requested $3.956 billion would benefit Tobagonians. Despite criticism, Morris questioned the THA's commitment to enhancing agriculture and developing the tourism sector. And finally, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley defended the government's plan to sell the mothballed Petrotrin refinery in Pointe-à-Pitre against criticism from Oilfield Workers Trade Union head Ansel Roger. Rowley dismissed Roger's comment, asserting that the government will act in the national interest until there is a change in leadership. He emphasized the refinery closed since 2018 belongs to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Rowley announced that a special committee will evaluate offers for the refinery, expecting a decision by the end of August. Despite OWTO's failed bid in 2018 and 2021, Rowley remained optimistic about ongoing interest, including recent talks with Indian investor Jindal Steel and Power Limited. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Thank you, Biana, for our news there in 90 seconds. And of course, listening to the budget yesterday, you heard a lot about the deliverables that came in from the current administration for the past 2.5 years, speaking about increased wages. We're talking about financial support to students studying abroad and even locally, and a little bit about the agriculture sector, which was particularly of interest to me, because at the end of the day, while we ask for money, we also have to consider the income, the revenue that we will generate to sustain ourselves here on the island of Tobago. And I'm looking forward to seeing the debate on Thursday to see what the outcomes will be, what are the strong points that will be brought forward there on Thursday. What are your views, Biana, based on what you heard of the budget reading yesterday?
All right, so based on what I heard, as I spoke about the issue of crime, I heard that was mentioned, as well as they're going to have legal talks in terms of, getting the Tobago police, right? And he also mentioned about the new unit that they will have and going back to the community policing. So, there's hope for curbing the crime situation in Tobago based on what was presented in the budget.
And I do hope that, we are able to actualize the things that are projected, because at the end of the day, we always say, especially on this program, that our safety is very, very important. And we want to live in a space that we can enjoy, that children, our generations coming up, can also enjoy and embrace. And so I look forward to the rollout of this come in a couple of months, when the funds will be released for fiscal 25 for us to do what we need to do here on the island of Tobago. Thank you so much, Biana. Ladies and gentlemen, we're heading into our birthday shout-out. It's the time of the morning where we say happy birthday to those who are celebrating. And on screen this morning and celebrating a birthday is the beautiful Bethlyn Cromarty. She is celebrating a birthday today. Bethlyn Cromarty is celebrating a birthday, and we do say happy birthday to you, Bethlyn. We pray God's blessings upon your life. We pray that you walk in purpose and destiny, and that you enjoy all the love that comes with celebrating a birthday. Next, it's Tyrone McCool. Tyrone McCool is celebrating a birthday as well today. And Tyrone, we pray that God blesses you, that He keeps you, and that you remain focused on Him. Walk in purpose, walk in destiny. And happy, happy birthday to you. Extra blessings for you this morning, and all the love that comes with celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday to you as well. And for all our viewers who are celebrating a birthday, even if we don't have your photo, we say happy birthday to you as well. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and remember to give God thanks for a new day, a new year, a new chapter in your life, and great things to look forward to there. All right, you might be wondering, who are we having conversations with in studio this morning? And I'm here to tell you that we start off conversations by speaking with Julie Tiwari Defog, foster care team lead, and Renee Neptune, acting adoption manager from the Children's Authority. And we're speaking about foster care and adoption. Very, very interesting conversation this morning. You want to be a part of that to understand the difference between foster care and adoption and how it works in our space here in Trinidad and Tobago. Then we speak with David Thomas, a candidate and for deputy political leader of the TPP in preparation for the elections taking place there on June 30th. And we round conversations up with speak with pastors Marvin and Simone Smart of Eternal Impact Christian Center. Holy Ghost encounter taking place here in Tobago beginning tomorrow. And so we want to have that conversation, get the information, and see how that rolls out. We want, of course, for you to be with us as we have those conversations this morning. We're so happy when you choose us. We're so happy that you spend that time with us in the morning as you prepare, you get your morning routine on the go. We thank you so much for viewing us wherever you're viewing us from, whether you're viewing on our Facebook live stream, our YouTube channel, or on Amplia 102. We say thank you so much, whether you're in Trinidad, Tobago, the rest of the Caribbean, United States, Canada, Australia, wherever you are on the globe. Thank you so much for choosing us and making us the #1 morning show here in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, we go for a short break before we begin conversations in studio. And before we go, we invite you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special. Wings Friday, £3 wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT. Soup Saturday, £2 cube beef, £2 cow heel, £2 chicken foot, £2 pigtail, or smoked bone. Special $150. Super Sunday, £3 leg and thigh chicken, £3 sliced pork, £3 lamb slice, £3 cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
Notice is hereby given that the 63rd Annual General Meeting, AGM, of the Bethel Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited will take place using a hybrid format on Thursday, June 27th from 5 p.m. The physical location will be upstairs the Mount Marie branch office. The purpose of the meeting is to receive minutes of the 62nd Annual General Meeting, to receive reports as follows: statutory and board-appointed committees, report of the auditor and audited financial statements, to receive budgetary proposals for 2024, to elect officers, to approve general resolutions, and lastly to transact any other business that may properly come before the meeting. A digital copy of the AGM brochure is available on the website. Please visit our website at www.bethelcredituniont.com or any one of our branches for further information.
Dance Ensemble Tobago presents our signature event, a festival of dancing, Tobago Dance Sport Championship and Dancing with the Caribbean Stars. Dance in with DNA, our 11th edition. Saturday, July 6th at 5 p.m. Shore Park Cultural Complex. Featured in this year's lineup, Assemblyman Trevor James, Mrs. Petal Daniel Benoit, Mrs. Diane Baker Henry, Miss Davia Chambers, Miss Leslie Ann Ellis, and Miss Sinel Dempster. Limited early bird tickets. Adults $150. After party only $100. Children pay $75 at the door. You don't want to miss this one. Get your tickets early from Dance Ensemble class members, D&D Jewelers at Tobago United Cooperative, Milford 24 Gas Station Canaan, and the Shore Park Cultural Complex box office. For more information, contact Nikisha White at 772-9049 or Nelisa Dick 340-5758.
is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi, and we begin conversations this morning in studio. First, we speak with Anjuli Tiwari-Defage, foster care team lead of the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, and Rennie Neptune, acting adoption manager. And we speak in foster care and adoption. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Good morning, Adana.
Right, and of course, you know, when you hear the terms foster care and adoption, they're used interchangeably, but of course, they're two different things. Yes. And so we want to start off by first of all talking about who is the Children's Authority and what are the differences between, how do you define foster care and adoption? Right. So
thank you. So we want to start by saying that Children's Authority is the agency that's in charge of all child protection issues within Trinidad and Tobago. We've been around since 2015, and we've really been trying to establish our presence between Trinidad and Tobago. I'm glad we're talking about foster care and adoption, because persons mix them up all the time. I want to start with foster care. Foster care is a temporary care option for children. So when children cannot stay within their families for a variety of reasons, we really try to provide that stability, that safe space for them, those family environments where we give families, their birth families, a chance to heal. So children go temporarily into foster care. So we give those families time to put things in place, get back on their feet before we can consider possibly reintegrating those children where possible and appropriate.
Right. So while they're in the foster care, you said you're just preparing the parents to heal, to recuperate. Is it that in some cases the children go back to their birth parents, or sometimes they move on to what we will now call adoption, a more permanent solution for them?
So best case scenario, if things work out well, we can put children back with their families, and that's depending on families working with us. However, sometimes that doesn't always work out, and we can consider other options such as fit persons or also looking at adoption.
Right, and we want to talk a little bit about adoption, because now we understand what foster care is a short-term solution, and I know adoption is more permanent, more long-term. Right. But what are the things that classify the category of adoption?
So like we were saying, foster care is temporary, whereas adoption, this is a long-term, it's a permanent arrangement. So it's birth parents transferring their legal rights from themselves to these persons who now want to adopt this child. So by law, once an adoption is granted by the courts, that's it, it's completed. These children are now a full member of this family. They are entitled to the inheritance. They are given a certificate of adoption where these persons' names are on it, and they're reflected as the the birth parents of the children. So it's a permanent solution, and it involves, you know, providing a child with a safe, loving and caring environment for them to grow with a family.
And I just want to go a little off script. I know, like, especially in the Western world, you see a lot of foster caring and adoption, and we don't really speak about that much here in our local space. What has it been like in terms of getting people to come forward to be foster care parents or adoptive parents? Right. What has it been challenging, or what has it been like in terms of getting people to do this? Because I'm certain, especially for social reasons, you know, people might just desperately need that hub to keep their children until they're in a better place, as you mentioned. What has the response been like for foster caring here in Trinidad and Tobago?
So I would say for foster care, it's been really tough. That word temporary seemed to turn people off, and that's unfortunate, because we really want to turn that taboo around and make people understand that foster care is a chance to give those children stability. So it's been tough to convince persons that temporary is not a bad thing. Temporary is an option for us to give families a chance to heal, and we could really change the trajectory of a child's life life, no matter how short that time. So we don't want temporary to turn people off. We've been around since 2015, and I would say we have about maybe 85 foster care providers, and we now have kinship foster care. And that's something I want to talk about a little bit later. We have relatives who can come forward, and we have about 20 kinship foster parents. And in Tobago, we have about 7 foster parents as well. So we're really proud of that.
Right. I didn't even know that we had that in Tobago. So that's something that we could commend there. And of course, encourage people to come out, to step forward to be foster parents. What does it really involve? Because people might be thinking, as you said, it's just temporary. So they might be thinking, oh, I might have somebody here short term in my home. What are the requirements to be a foster parent, and what is the type of care that they need to give to the children when they take them into their homes?
So when a child comes into a foster home, that foster parent is acting as the parent for that period. It does not negate the birth parents, but it really is acting in the role. You're providing for school, for medicals, you're providing for that safe space, and you're loving them. It really is about love. And when we go into your homes, we need to make sure it's a safe space, because the last thing we want is to remove a child from a space of danger, putting them back into danger.
Even more danger.
So that's why our checks are so stringent, but it really shouldn't be so difficult for us to approve persons, and we really want to encourage persons to come forward and explore this temporary space. Temporary is not a bad thing. It's a space to allow families to heal.
And what type of support? Because people might be thinking, okay, this is an additional mouth to feed, an additional bed for a head to rest on. What type of support is given to foster care parents?
We absolutely we hold the hand of the foster parents throughout the process. So we're giving you psychological support, training, we're giving you counseling, we're giving counseling to children if necessary. We also give a monetary support, but that's specifically toward the child. So when we come in to approve you, we make sure that financially you are able to take care of your own needs so that that stipend is not abused.
Right, absolutely. In terms of adoption, what are okay, so now we've done foster caring on a temporary basis, and now we have to do an assessment to migrate the child, whether it's back to its original family, their original family, or into an adoption situation.
Right.
What is the process to get the child adopted? Should we go the route of adoption?
Okay, if we want to go the route of adoption, we do also have a thorough psychosocial process. And this is to ensure, because adoption is permanent, we're placing a child with a family, that's stable. They can holistically care for the child, mentally, physically, financially. The process involves us having interviews with persons. They have to undergo psychological assessments, security background checks. We need to ensure that there are no red flags, and if there are red flags, that these are dealt with before a child could be placed with a family.
And so, we have a few homes scattered across Trinidad and Tobago. And so we have children living, I think you can call them foster homes.
No.
What do we call them?
We call them community residences or children homes.
Right. So the children that are housed there, are they eligible for adoption?
Right.
And is it the same process?
I'm glad you asked that question. No, these children are not what we call candidates for adoption. And that's because there are different reasons. Sometimes they may be placed there because the courts would have them there until the age of 18. Some of them might be going through the reintegration process with their families, and they are not what we call freed for adoption. And when I say freed for adoption, freeing them for adoption is a legal process that the authority undergoes, and it is finalized by the court. So we would try to locate all birth parents, relatives, anyone concerning this child, so they could relinquish their parental rights. We don't want to take a child from their environment and place them with someone, and then later on a birth parent shows up. We want to ensure we get the necessary consent from these parents before we can remove that child and place them someone. So it's entirely a legal process, and this goes for children within the hospitals as well. We may see some children there and persons, they indicate to us we want to adopt this child. But if this child does come to us and we conduct the necessary checks, the necessary investigations, and determine this child could be a candidate for adoption, they would be matched with someone who is already on our list, who have gone through the process and has been approved by the authority.
I know before we came and said we were talking about types of adoption.
Right.
So it's not just one big umbrella of adoption. So there are different types. Can you just talk us through a few of the different types of adoption?
Sure. So there are 2 types of adoption. The first one is an open adoption, and this is where there is a relationship between the birth parent as well as the adoptive parents. They know each other. The child knows who's going to adopt them. So, for example, this can be like a grandparent adopting a grandchild, or a spouse adopting the other spouse's child. There is that sort of relationship there. They know each other. Whereas there's a closed adoption and there's no identifying information. So for example, a birth mother wants to place a child for adoption. Once that child comes to us, they do not know who that child is going to be placed with, right? There's no identifying information on both parties, on both ends. However, when this child turns 18, he or she can then apply to the court to probably look for their birth parents, but there's no identifying information here.
Wow, this is, we're having this conversation this morning, and as I mentioned earlier, we see adoption in the Western world as something that is like almost every day it happens, and we don't have it here, and I don't think we've ever had the conversation about it in this space, and so I'm happy that we're having it this morning, because even I am being educated on, the process of adoption, the different terms, how it is done, what are the expectations, and I know, as you mentioned, there are only 7 foster homes in Tobago, and so we want, of course, I'm certain that there are children who need to be housed. So, I mean, how do you encourage somebody? Because I know we spoke about the challenges. People think short-term, temporary. How do we encourage persons to come forward to be foster parents? And what are the benefits to them as a foster parent?
I definitely want to let persons know that we do provide support, So even though it's scary, saying goodbye is tough. But if you think about it, every one of us has said goodbye to somebody at some point in our lives. So it's part of the journey, knowing that you're giving this child an opportunity to better themselves, give them that safe, stable space, and then move on to hopefully their families. So it's not a bad thing. So we want to remove those negative connotations, knowing that we will be holding your hand, providing support throughout, before and after, so that you may have many foster children pass through your home. And that will bring love and experiences to your home, and absolutely a fulfilling, really, really powerful experience.
Most certainly. And, as you're speaking there, I'm wondering, is it possible for a foster care provider to now want to adopt one of the children that might have passed through their home, and how does that work?
So it's something that we don't encourage, in the sense that it's 2 different types of children we're looking at. Foster care, we're looking at children who are actively working with trying to get them back to their families. In some instances, children, so that temporary space, it can actually be a long-term temporary. So a child can actually stay with you until they're 18, but that's not guaranteed. We never know what the circumstances of a child and their family is like when they come into foster care. So we encourage persons not to want adoption when you sign up for foster care. You can apply for both, but the child who's in your foster home, we really do say that it's not a shortcut for adoption. Don't use foster care as a shortcut. It's either you want adoption or foster care, and it's 2 different groups of children we're looking at.
And you really have to detach your emotions from this, because you're speaking about it, and I'm thinking, if I form a relationship with a child that comes through my home, then I think it's my child. Maybe not by birth, but you've invested in the child, you've formed relationships, and sometimes it's kind of difficult. So I like the fact that you said you provide that support, that psychological support, so that they can deal with that type of detachment that is absolutely necessary for the child to move on, whether it's to go back to their parents or to go on to adoptive parents as well. And I'm so happy that we're having this conversation this morning, and I want to know, what are the primary things that you want people to take away from this conversation this morning? What do you want them to absolutely understand and to come on board with as we move forward with adoption and foster caring here in Trinidad and Tobago?
So I think with foster care, we want persons to realize temporary is not a bad thing. Give us a call. Give us a call on 627-0748, extension 40988. Drop us an email at fostercare@ttchildren.org, or even check out the website at www.ttchildren.org. Check out the facts. Find out how foster care can work for you, and it can really help the nation and our nation's children heal.
That's right.
Yeah, I would add for adoption, sometimes there's a stigma attached to adoption. Persons might feel, a type of way to come to us and say that I want to place my child for adoption, but I want to let people know there's no judgment here. Your information is confidential. It is safe with us. It's a safe space. Every child deserves to grow up with a family, a safe, loving home. So feel free to come to adoption. Whether it is, financially, you don't have the familial support, those sorts of things, come to us rather than abandoning a child somewhere in the bushes or in the hospital. Feel free to come to us. Also, adoption is always an option. It's a very, very selfless one. And it's about finding families for children, so we do encourage persons to come to us. And if you want to get in contact with us, you can call us at 627-0748, extensions 40021 through 40027, as well as through adoption@ttchildren.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we've been having conversations here this morning about adoption and foster care here in Trinidad and Tobago, talking about the importance of both and the difference as well, you know, and very, very interesting conversation this morning. The encouragement is for you to come forward if you think that it's within you to be a foster care parent, to provide foster care to children or even adoption here in Trinidad and Tobago. It is very important. As you heard, every child deserves a safe home, a safe space to rest and just to feel comfortable and to feel loved. So if you feel as if you have that within you, now is the time to step forward. You can contact them there to get more information, of course, as it relates to foster care and adoption. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio this morning. And of course, before we go for a break, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Can't live without you, I can't be without you for too long. Cause when I'm around you, I feel like the heavens has come down. I feel it in my soul every time we on the road, it's a miracle.
The countdown is on to the Tobago Public Service Day Expo 2024. Join us on July 5th at the Shore Park Complex to discover the dynamic world of public service where innovation meets dedication. Explore exciting careers, experience innovative services, enjoy interactive displays, and a whole lot more. Come join us on July 5th at the Shore Park Complex from 9:30 a.m. Visit the Office of the Chief Secretary's Facebook page for details. Tobago Public Service Day Expo 2024. Public service now and beyond. Sun Up Tobago is here. Join us on Saturday, July 6th from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Delta Compound Argyle for an unforgettable summer experience. Enjoy an all-inclusive experience with mouth-watering food, coolers are allowed, and best island vibe. This is a tickets-only event. Get your tickets now at Barco, Lus, and Pablo's Argyle. Don't miss out on the event of the summer. Sun Up Tobago, sponsored by Tobago Updates, B-Mobile, State Solutions, and Thorns Place.
Look at people in here tonight.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorns Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorns Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi, and we continue conversations this morning in studio. We speak with pastors Marvin and Simone Smart from the Eternal Impact Christian Center, and we're talking about Holy Ghost Encounter in Tobago taking place beginning from tomorrow. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Right, and I must mention that this is a son and a daughter of the soil here, right, in Tobago and residing in the U.S., and they're coming with the Holy Ghost Encounter in Tobago. And if we know the times that we're in now, we really do need the presence of Almighty God, because we are really struggling. We really are, and we really need Him. And so we're talking about this event taking place beginning from tomorrow. So let's go through the program for the period from Wednesday.
Okay, so beginning from Wednesday, we have an evening session that is going to be tremendous. It's going to be awesome. That's our kickoff service, and my husband is going to be preaching for that service. On Thursday and Friday, we have morning and evening sessions. The morning sessions are at 10 a.m. and the evening sessions are at 7 p.m. We have speakers from the U.S. who are coming in, and they'll be ministering in those sessions as well. And then on Saturday morning at 10 a.m., we have a special prayer, healing, and deliverance meeting. So if you...
I would say God chose Tobago for this meeting. It's actually one of the first that we've ever had. And I believe God has a heart for Tobago, and He wants the churches to get together and for us to seek His face about changing the dynamics in the nation. So it's important that, we as believers, regardless of your denomination, regardless of your church affiliation, we invite you to come out and spend time, seeking the face of God, hearing God's heart, because He will give us strategies. He's going to help realign some things, recalibrate some things that we're doing, even as we have church in our everyday, every week. God has an agenda, and He has strategies for us to be able to deploy it on the island of Tobago to try to combat some of the things the enemy is doing.
That's right. And I know you spoke primarily about being, whether you're from whatever denomination, you're welcome to come. But is it open only for churchgoers, Christians, or is it open for the general public?
It's open for the general public. I would say it is a believers meeting because, there's going to be language, there's going to be terminologies, there's going to be things that we're talking about that the average person who is not born again may not comprehend, but you are welcome to attend, because we believe that as we gather and spend time seeking God's face, we will encounter Him. He will show up, and whether you're saved or unsaved, you will have an impact. There will be an impartation, there will be an impact from the presence of God in that person's life.
And I suppose too, because of the structure of the events, where you have the impartations and then you have the opportunity for the healing and deliverance, especially, that'll be primarily for persons who are not churchgoers per se. People still believe in miracles. People still believe, whether people are churchgoers, or whether they are subscribed to a church or not. People believe in God. They believe in the power of God. They might want to deny it, but I'm telling you, they believe. And people, I'm speaking passionately because you all know that I too am a believer. I'm a Christian, and I believe in God. And so believer might deny it, but the opportunity is there. We might be experiencing so many challenges in our lives and we just don't know where the answers are going to come from. And I suppose that this provides an opportunity for you to see God's face. And especially in the company of all the denominations coming together, we're expecting some fire taking place there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we expect a mighty move of God, and I believe in expectation, because when you have an expectation, it gives God an opportunity to show up. Your expectation is your faith in manifestation. And so these Holy Ghost meetings are designed for us to come together, like he said, to seek the face of God. But even if you want to deepen your relationship with God, if you want to grow in your knowledge of God, if you want to experience the power of God moving and working in your life, this is a good opportunity.
And you know, evangelism is something that is very important, and it can different ways. And as you were speaking, the thing that was coming to me was evangelism. I know we spoke about it's a believers, primarily a believers event, but I really believe that as you speak about things, people will get, the curiosity will come. What does this mean? You spoke about, Pastor Marvin, you spoke about the terminologies that might be used. And so the curiosity will come. What does this term mean? Where did you get it from? And you see somebody going into their Bible trying to figure out what does this mean, and thereby developing a relationship with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And you know, I'm talking as if this interview is mine.
It is yours.
Because, it is yours. Because I really am excited whenever I hear things like this happening, because we really do need the times that we're living in. We need to recenter. We need to refocus on who we are, who we were meant to be, who we were designed to be, because we've moved away. We've seen so much crime, especially in our sweet Tobago. I don't know if you're aware, but in the past couple of months, we had so many murders. For the year, we've had 10. And it's very, very uncommon to happen here in the Tobago space. So something like this is very welcomed. How do people register? Is there a registration? How do I participate if I want to come to the event?
So we encourage people to register. The event is completely free, but the registration just allows us to prepare for those who will be attending. So registration is on Eventbrite, and you can search by Holy Ghost Meeting Tobago and just add your name and say that you'll be there.
That's right.
Let me add, if you don't register, you can still show up. It's an open, free, public meeting. Amen.
That's right. That's right. And we want as many persons to be impacted as possible. And it begins tomorrow from
7 p.m. at the Shore Park Complex.
Right. And the flyer is on the screen there. So it's 7 p.m. from tomorrow at the Shore Park Complex. And then on Thursday, 10 a.m. and then a session at 7 p.m. And the same on Friday, 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. And then on Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it is taking place there at our very own Shore Park Complex with Pastors Marvin and Simone Smart. And I'm so proud to say that, you know, they're both from Tobago. I've known Simone as a little girl growing up. I've known Simone, and to know that Simone now has this measure of influence in the kingdom. You know, many congrats to you guys, and I wish you the very best. And I do hope that we come out, viewers, and participate in the event. You know, you never know what's going to happen. And as you mentioned earlier, come with an expectation.
Absolutely.
And that is the bedrock for God to operate. He likes you. He likes to know that you're expecting him to do something.
Absolutely.
And you know, based on my own experience, I know that he likes to show off.
You
know, I know. I know. You know, so I really do wish you the very best. And I do hope that people come out and benefit from, you know, what is happening there. We just came out of In His Presence 11, and it was an awesome, amazing time in God's presence. And so this opportunity, of course, now brings that balance where we can really focus on the content and the word of God and, you know, the spirit behind the things that we do as believers in Jesus Christ. So all the best. All the best to you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, people come out. It's happening there beginning tomorrow, 7 p.m. at the Shore Park Complex, absolutely free of charge. Register on Eventbrite and you search for Holy Ghost Meeting Tobago. Free of charge. Register so that we know the numbers that will be there on each event. Come out and participate. You never know what God is going to do. Come with an expectation and see God work his miracles in your life. Listen, you will go away with a testimony.
Yes.
I declare.
Yes.
I am no pastor here, but I declare that, you know, once you come with an expectation, he doesn't disappoint. And this is from my very own experience. So do come out and show your support and come expecting something great. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Pastors Marvin and Simone Smart as we speak about Holy Ghost meeting in Tobago, taking place from this Wednesday all the way to Saturday. So get the information and register. And even if you have not registered, you can still be a part of the meeting. In closing, is there anything you want to share with our Tobago public?
Let me just say that we love Tobago, of course, because this is where we're born and bred. This is who we are. And we found it really interesting that the Lord would send us to Tobago to do this. We have our own church in Houston, Texas. Yes. It's a growing church, a young church, and it demands our attention. Right. But at the same time, here was God calling on us and saying, this is the time and I want you to do this. So this is very precious to us. Yes. And it's very significant. And we really believe that God is going to do something spectacular in our midst. Amen. So
that's right.
Come out, don't miss it.
That's right. That's right. So you heard it there, ladies and gentlemen. You have time still to register. It's starting tomorrow, Wednesday, and all the way to Saturday. We've been speaking with Pastors Marvin and Simone Smart, and of course, Holy Ghost meeting taking place there come Wednesday. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio with our guests. And as we go for a break, of course, we ask you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed partners and sponsors, and most importantly, our beloved communities, welcome to the Tobago Heritage Festival 2024. As we embark on the 37th year of this festival, our theme is We Come Back. Back to our communities, back to our villages, back to our true indigenous heritage presentations and productions. We are bringing back iconic events such as Yesterday's Children, Bell Manor Riots, and Courtship Codes. We want to highlight the importance of coming back to our roots, celebrating the people and the communities that make Tobago so special. Get ready for an unforgettable experience as we say, we come back to our true essence. We want to encourage each and every one of you to continue to support our cultural development and preservation in any way that you can. Your support is truly invaluable. Together, we can continue to make a positive impact that will be felt for generations to come. Thank you, and see you in July.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with immense pride and excitement that I address you to officially launch the 2024 Heritage Festival. It is a journey back to our roots. This year's theme, we come back to our communities, back to our villages, back to our true indigenous heritage presentations and productions. It captures the true essence of revitalizing the culture and traditions that have shaped our identity for generations. This year marks the hosting of the festival, and we are proud to officially dub the month of July as Tobago Heritage Month, a time when our island comes alive with flavors and stories of our ancestors. The festival continues to offer an unparalleled opportunity for economic growth on the island. Every stakeholder, from local artisan and vendor to hospitality businesses and transportation services, to benefit. Our vibrant cultural displays will attract visitors, boost tourism, and a significant economic uplift to the island. The heart of this festival beats in our communities. We are empowering each village productions to ensure authenticity and sustainability. The Tobago Festival Commissions Limited and the Tobago House of Assembly are here to support you. fostering an environment where our heritage can flourish sustainably. As we embark on this journey, let us celebrate the essence of Tobago. Let us honor our heritage and support our communities as we showcase the vibrant culture that makes our island unique. Thank you.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi, and we're just about 7:46 a.m. So if you're getting to work for 8 and dropping the children off to school, you only have 14 minutes to get there. But remember, try to get there as safely as possible. Be safe on our nation's roads. All right, we continue conversations this morning in studio, and we're speaking with Mr. David Thomas. He is candidate for Deputy Political Leader in the TPP internal elections, which is upcoming on June 30th. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you, and good morning to Tobago. Good morning to the TPP family.
That's right. And so we're preparing for internal elections that is taking place on the 30th of June. Nomination day was the 20th. And so now you are contesting the position of Deputy Political Leader.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right. And so I want to know, what is your motivation for vying for this position?
Well, in actual fact, I have been in the Tobago space contributing in significant ways in the past, and I am not really satisfied that we are where we want to be. And when I looked at the positions being advertised, I carefully examined them, and I thought that I should get in at a level where I can make significant contributions and make the kind of contributions them for the entire team. And I thought that getting at the deputy political level, I would be support echelons of the party, as well as give support to those that hold the other offices and the other positions in the party.
All right. And what are your experiences and your skills? What kind of skill set are you bringing to this position? Should you be the successful candidate for this? What you have in this field, and what kind of skill set will you be bringing to, as you say, to support the party to achieve the objectives?
Well, I've been in this public space for quite a number of years, right? My background speaks to being the Assistant Chief Fire Officer division, where I managed this entire division and had the responsibility to ensure that Tobago remains safe. Tobago, you know, was benefiting from the best level of civil defense, I became actively involved in politics way back in the early 2000s under the people like Jack, Morgan Job, Basil Opande. I actually worked with these people. And I still believe today that we had real politicians that time, people who understood what politics was all about, people who understood that people, and people who understood giving to people what they truly deserve in terms of their livelihoods, in terms of their standard of living, in terms of bringing value to living in the Tobago or the Trinidad and Tobago space. I think over the years we have fallen away, and given my early training and given my conviction, I believe I am fitted with the requisite skills, having been extensively trained all over the world, right, and having risen to the level of assistant chief officer, where it brought out your administrative skills, it brought out your people skills, it brought out your managerial skills, and I think that based on my skill set and training, I can contribute significantly, not just to the growth, but to the lives of the citizenry of Tobago.
Right, and you mentioned that back in the day, politics was about seeing about the people, and then you're saying that you feel as if we've moved away from that, so you see that as a challenge, and you believe that you have what it takes to bring the politics back to that position, or that we've moved away from caring for the people, and we need to come back to that space, and you believe you have the skills to do that?
Yes, definitely. If you follow my legacy as a fire officer, all of Tobago would understand or would be able to see in a very emphatic way that I did contribute to the lives of Tobagonians. I did cause a lot of different things to happen in the Tobago space as a senior fire officer. And I think that based on all that was achieved in the past, I can still contribute a whole lot to the development of Tobago. And I'm looking forward to making sure that my contributions, focused, and it remains constant in terms of Tobago's development.
And what are some of the things that you will be able to bring to the table to contribute to this development and this progress that you speak of, based on your experience, your skills, your knowledge base, and even your own personal objective, the party itself, and also the politics in Tobago improving? What are going to be your contributing aspects of it? What are you bringing to the table?
Well, I have no way of remaining silent, and I have no way of sitting on the fence. I have no way of allowing people to invade our space because of be subjected to what they feel we deserve. Right? I have a very strong conviction that Tobago is a peculiar space, and within the national context, I think that we are not being treated fairly. And I have no way of staying quiet about that. And I'm looking at bills, right? As I told you, I was in public life, and I saw what happened in those days. And I think it's unfair. I think that Tobago deserves its rightful space. I think Tobago can be the best little island on the planet, given that we are treated fairly, given that we are represented well, given that we understand that we have an obligation to represent ourselves and ensure that whatever is meted out to us is what we deserve, and where our conviction lie, and where our development will become significant as we pass on to the future generations.
No, I want to give you this opportunity, right? You're speaking to your TPP family.
Yes.
It's election day.
Yes.
And they're coming to the polls now to vote for their deputy political leader of the TPP.
Yes.
What would you tell them to encourage them to cast that vote for you?
TPP family, I have a huge legacy in Tobago. I have served Tobago with distinction. I continue to have that conviction. I will commit myself. I have no way of staying quiet when we are treated unfairly. And I'm coming to the table to deliver a different kind of politics, if you might say, to you. You expect us to deliver. You expect us to represent you in a very significant way. You expect us to be your voice. You expect us to create economic opportunities. You expect us to have a strategic plan, a strategic direction, which would redound to the benefit of Tobagonians. And you also expect us not to settle for less than the best. And I am coming to ensure that everything that is done with your interests at heart. And I look forward to your support. I look forward for you putting that trust in me and the rest of the team, the TPP team, to deliver at your doorsteps. I could remember there was one time in the history of this country when we are sure that the wealth of this country trickled down to the small man. It is still in my head. It is still what I believe, and it's still what I would always work hard to deliver to you as honest citizens and as citizens that deserve the best.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're speaking with Mr. David Thomas and TPP family. You've heard him here, the pitch for the position of Deputy Political Leader of the TPP come June 30th for the internal elections, putting himself forward for that position, ready to serve, with experience, as he mentioned before. So that is his pitch. Come out and vote. When you're voting, consider him, as he, put himself forward there this morning. Thank you, Mr. Thomas, for speaking with us this morning and, of course, giving us your position as vying for a candidate of the Deputy Political Leader for TPP for the internal elections there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. But we don't end our programming here. We head on over to Tobago Notes and then on to GMT, and we invite you to stay with us. And as you stay with us, of course, we ask you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Last year, October 2023, the island tilted. The peaceful bliss of sea, sun, and sand was transcended as we took to the streets to revel in paradise.
Tobago! It's such a nice place!
Tobago Carnival, right here. We're not leave it till we go right down.
It's the greatest, it's the best, it's safe, and it's beautiful.
I love Tobago, baby. Coming back next year. Hey!
Playing pan on the streets is a magical experience. When the band strike up, it's rhythm, steel, and powder. This is Tobago Carnival, pan in paradise.
Tobago is the best.
Tobago Carnival is the new home for the legend of Calypso. Where else can you get sweet Calypso music that gives you that nostalgic feeling?
Soca Titans is we title, is we monarch. We built artists from scratch who can perform with the best. Real Titans of Soca.
When last you've been to a party, plenty women looking so nice. We must be in paradise.
This year, ritual takes on new space and dimension. Traditions will be reimagined, breaking free, and taking on new meaning on the road.
I love the energy!
This year, the revelry is bigger and better. More colors, more meaning, great packages for the masqueraders. Tobago Carnival is freedom.
This year promoting safety in all events for Tobago Carnival. This year promoting whining, not minding people business. This year promoting clean fun, security, and freedom.
Freedom to be any version of yourself that you choose to be with love and safety. Here, you have permission to be you, uninhibited and free.
So what you waiting on? This year, this October 2024, experience the ritual, revel in paradise, release yourself. the greatest little island on the planet, this is the Tobago Carnival 2024.
Every time, yeah, every single time.
Innovative, dedicated, impactful. The public service now and beyond. Today we celebrate our stalwarts who have left an enduring legacy on the public service in Tobago. Mrs. Bernard Trim was a nursing assistant from 1969 to 1983. She was promoted to contact tracer at the STI HIV clinic and retired in 2019. Mrs. Bernard Trim says getting clients to come to the clinic for counseling and treatment is her greatest achievement. She says discrimination of HIV patients back then made it very difficult as sex was a taboo topic and HIV was considered a death sentence. She says she feels rewarded by the gratitude expressed from the clients she served.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am Chanel Felix, and you know whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have, while those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds.
News in 90 seconds is brought to you by Standards, never beaten on quality and prices.
Chief Secretary and Secretary of Finance, Trade and the Economy, Farley Augustine, presented a $3.956 billion budget for the next fiscal year, making his third and final budget as Finance Secretary. Under the theme, Unlocking Tobago's Development Potential, the proposed budget exceeds the central government's fiscal 2024 allocation of $2.585 billion. Augustine justified the $3.956 billion request by citing Tobago's population growth from 4.58% in 2011 to 5.05%, which necessitates a review of the DRC's ruling. He emphasized the budget represents 5.8% of the national budget, reflecting Tobago's population increase and the DRC's ruling stipulations. Additionally, Minority Leader Kelvon Morris described the THA budget presentation for fiscal 2024 as another failure. Morris expressed little hope that Augustine is making genuine efforts to revive Tobago's struggling economy. Morris criticized Augustine's third budget presentation, viewing it as a broader economic leadership failure. He expressed concerns about the absence of a clear plan for how the requested $3.956 billion would benefit Tobagonians. Despite criticism, Morris questioned the THA's commitment to enhancing agriculture and developing the tourism sector. And finally, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley defended the government's plan to sell the mothballed Petrotrin refinery in Pointe-à-Pierre against criticism from the oilfield workers trade union head Ansel Roger. Rowley dismissed Roger's comments, asserting that the government will act in the national interest until there is a change in leadership. He emphasized that the refinery, closed since 2018, belongs to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Rowley announced that a special committee will evaluate offers for the refinery, expecting a decision by the end of August. Despite the OWTU's failed bid in 2018 and 2021, Rowley remained optimistic about ongoing interests, including recent talks with Indian investor Jindal Steel and Power Limited. And that was on News in 90 Seconds.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
Notice is hereby given that the 63rd Annual General Meeting, AGM, of the Bethel Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited will take place using a hybrid format on Thursday, June 27th from 5 p.m. The physical location will be upstairs the Mount Marie branch office. The purpose of the meeting is to receive minutes of the 62nd Annual General Meeting, to receive reports as follows: statutory and board-appointed committees, report of the auditor and audited financial statements, to receive budgetary proposals for 2024, to elect officers, to approve general resolutions, and lastly to transact any other business that may properly come before the meeting. A digital copy of the AGM brochure is available on the website. Please visit our website at www.bethelcredituniontt.com or any one of our branches for further information.
Start to rise, the energy fill the sky.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. This morning our conversations would surround the budget presentation that was made by the Chief Secretary yesterday, as well as the internal election of the new TPP party. And this morning, as we have that conversation, very soon I would have a conversation with Mrs. Natasha Second, who is vying for the position of chairman of the party, and we are interested in hearing all that she has to say about that. Our conversation this morning would surround some of the candidates that we would see going up. We know that Miss Natasha Second would be competing against Attorney Chrislyn Moore, as well as Assemblyman Trevor James. We're going to take a brief break and she's going to join us really soon right after this.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
We party till we drop down there, with a lot of pretty girls down there, down in Tobago.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. As I suggested right before the break, we are chatting with Miss Natasha Second, who is one of the candidates vying for chairperson of the Tobago People's Party. Right? Good morning, Mrs. Second, and how are you doing?
Good morning to you, and good morning to Tobago and to Trinidad and to everyone. I'm doing really well.
It's a pleasure to have you on with us this morning. So you have been working with this TPP party since the inception. You were one of the persons who moved from that PDP executive, submitting your resignation when the slew of resignations were coming in from executive members. You were one of the first persons to submit your resignation, and then you began work immediately to get this new party up and running. Tell us about the journey for you coming from being on that PDP executive and all the work that you would have done within this new dispensation, the TPP, and where the party is at right now.
Well, at that time when the PDP had the falling out, I would have immediately developed the instinct based upon my history with the politics, because I've been in and around the politics for quite some time, and I've been part of organizations that rose up, got structured, and were destroyed. And so I knew the methodology to build a new party, and I knew that I needed to understand the players in the game, and I knew that we had to work together and we had to work swiftly in order to establish not just the structure of a party, but to build a real party that could be sustainable, that could be stable, that would be inclusive, and that would demonstrate equity. So I immediately did the research and pulled members who, volunteers together, and we approached who is now our appointed political leader, Fali Augustine, and we asked him, because of all of his characteristics, if he would be our interim political leader. And from there, just based on volunteerism, from the ground up, we began the process. So meetings would last anywhere between 45 minutes and 3 hours. We organized ourselves for days to ensure that we understood the process of registering a party, withstood all of the external attacks on the individuals in the party and on the fledgling idea of a party, and we followed all of the rules to ensure that we could protect what was the idea of a political party. Then we went through all of the steps. We physically registered with the EBC. That took a number of discussions with the national level of the EBC, and we were guided really well. There was great support there. And after that, we had to ensure that we had a constitution developed. So we had to call everybody together, and remember, we come from a number of different political entities. We come from the PNM, the PDP, nowhere. We are an amalgamation of ideas and dreams. And so all of these people together had to be led in a direction so that we could register our party, develop our constitution, ratify our constitution, and of course you needed money. So a team of us would have gotten together and decided, let's host a breakfast sale. And that was the first coming together of the people, so that we knew we really had some party. So we did a breakfast sale, and we gathered all of the persons from east, west, everywhere, and we began that spirit, reconnecting those people from different divides. And today I am very, very proud that not only am I contesting as a chairman, I would have a competitor as a sitting assembly, interesting post, basically of the dream that I would have seen to the end, which is this point. And as well, a former political leader of another party. So it fills me with joy that we were able to register the party, choose a color, create a symbol, do the ratification with people from all walks of life. Grassroots, middle income, elite, everyone.
Okay, and we have seen you along the way with everything that has happened with the party as we follow what has been happening with this new organization, TPP. We've seen you at the forefront since the beginning. You came on to Tobago Updates on several times to talk, on several occasions to speak about what
all of us to showcase to the world TPP. I have always been somebody who works hard to achieve, so I don't generally get selected. I put myself forward, I do my very best, and I tend to try to encourage others to grow and to develop and to be able to compete as well. So for me, I welcome the challenge because it's an endorsement that will come from the people. Those things that I did were purely voluntary, and they were out of an understanding of what it takes to build a party and to maintain a party and to be able to ensure that it doesn't end up in the political graveyard like so many other political parties before. So what I am saying at this point in time is that I'm proud that we have arrived at the point of internal elections. And I accept and I appreciate the role that I played, and I really appreciate the role that all of the persons played to get us to this point. And I welcome the opportunity to compete.
Right, and having done so much, having gotten the party so far, if you are unsuccessful as the chair, do you think you would still be putting that level of attention, energy, and effort behind the party?
Well, that has nothing to do with the party. That has to do with me. My excellence is something that comes from my family, my teachers, and so on. I was always raised to believe that I'm as good as any and better than many, and I do my part. For me, like I said, it was a voluntary journey. It was a journey for the people, understanding that Tobago needed this vehicle so that we can truly prosecute autonomy and we can elevate our people. We have a significant number of persons in the workforce who the only kind of job that they can really do is a morning work 6 to 8 because they don't have that educational background to be able to master something else. So their capacity needs to be built. And we would have rejected the style of politics that existed before us with the PNM. We rejected it because there was some elitism. The status quo was stifling us. There was no passion among the people. And we rejected it. The people want us to succeed. And so there had to be a driving force to get us to this place. For me, failure would be giving up if we do not achieve our party's objectives, which is to have a nice, stable option for all people to learn good governance and good structure. I think that I represent a sort of gatekeeper kind of personality, and that I will always represent the voiceless and the grassroots level people, but I can sit as comfortably among kings and interact with kings as I do with the peasant class. So I'm approachable to everyone, and I bring something to the table all of the time. I am the kind of chairman option who has managerial skills, has administrative skills, but understands when it's time to roll up your sleeves and be on the ground. I was instrumental in recruiting persons to the party long before internal elections was an option. So it wasn't about the position of power. It was about understanding that we needed this party. Now the people have a sense of what power is. They need to know that there needs to be a person in that seat that will guard their sense of power and that will hold everybody accountable. I do not think that the chair should be occupied at this time. It may be so in the future. At this time, for instance, by a sitting secretary, not so much because of time constraints, because you can manage your time well if you are a project manager or if you have those kinds of skills. And I think all three of us have those kinds of skills. We are good administrators and we are good managers. What I bring to the table is trust. What I bring to the table is approachability and humility. Everyone feels comfortable speaking to me second. Whether you're young, whether you're older, everyone, whether you're on the executive council, whether you are volunteering, everyone is comfortable. I bring to the table the hand that helps people up, the hand that empowers. So if you would look at the team of persons I brought to the competition, I'm not a one-man show in the team. There are persons who would have worked tirelessly in the background and, they shied away from the public space and so on. But I saw that in them, the potential to be great general secretaries, to be great treasurers, to be great deputy chairmen. And I encourage them to come out and to participate and to understand that their voluntarism was actually an investment in our people. And so I'm proud that we already have somebody who was nominated and who is nominated unopposed, Pearl Almond George, Sister Pearl. She's the mother of Niall George. From my original team, Team Anne, the guiding light, who is now on the executive, as is. I'm also proud of Tasha Legal, very quiet, very reserved, very strong powerhouse personality, running for the post of assistant treasurer from Castara, loves a political leader, loves people, did not see herself in the limelight fighting from the front. In order to truly prosecute autonomy, or people have to have the capacity. They cannot have the capacity if we always just shine. So I am the type of chair that nurtures and helps and ensures that people grow and people can fit positions and they can sit comfortably at the table. We also have Nazim Bash. He represents Tobagonian, raised here, come by boat, raised here from since he was 6 years old, raised in Dallaford Anglican School, Bishop's High School, etc. Businessman, somebody who contributed and somebody who continues to contribute to the development of our party, the achievement of our assemblymen, because we are the faces of the people who actually walk the ground and who actually secure victory for the assemblymen and for Tobago.
Right, and what I wanna intercept to ask here from you is, even as you guys have put in that work in the background and you're continuing to put in that work, you have created this team or a slate, as we should say, of these individuals who would be supporting you and you are supporting them in your thrust towards being the chairman. Tell us a little bit about why you decided to create this slate or this team of individuals. You kind of hinted to the fact that they have already been working very hard in the background and they have the capacity. But why do you think having a team is important going forward in this internal election?
I want the people to understand, the voting population, the supporters, the importance of distributing power to the people. The faces on our executive or party executive must be faces not just of our executive council, but also of our regular membership, especially those who at the grassroots level, they labor in the background, they toil, they create kings, they make kings. And as they are making kings, as we are stepping out into a space where we embrace autonomy, we all have to accept the responsibility of autonomy. We all have to accept leadership. And so we have Otis Noel, phenomenal individual within the party, upstanding, very committed to both the party and to Tobago and to all sorts of ideals. He's attractive as an individual, strong father, strong community personality, very religious. This is the kind of thing that we want to do, align ourselves and demonstrate that we all collectively share a space at the table. And we are about coming to the table. Wayne James from WIM, Darrell Spring WIM. He's been a chairman in the background there, young person, young male, good with the sports, always attracted to the politics and the political arguments and the political activism. And we have to push our young males.
So what do you think about the persons who are saying that because this is a new election, that it's automatically a popularity competition, and because you have a number of sitting assemblymen going up for positions on the executive, because they are already a bit popular, you know, their names are out there, their faces are out there, it's a bit unfair to the persons who are not as popular but has been doing the hard work in the background? How do you respond to that?
I respond to this very simply. Elections are won on election day, and they're won based on excellent campaigning and campaign strategy. You know the total population who is coming to vote. You work hard and you strategize, you market and you campaign. Nobody thought that Bukumong Pleasant could come to any opposition but the PNM. I was the campaign manager for that area. We immediately strategized and we began the process by helping people to believe, not that we cannot win, it is impossible, but that we could be the first team to take this district from the PNM. And regular persons, ordinary persons formed that team. We had a couple persons with degrees and so on. The majority did not. And we achieved that goal. I was also chairman back in when we were another party of the Scarborough Calder Hall Action Group, where Trevor James would have run January of 2021. At the end of that exercise, I was so effective that he endorsed me in front of his team. He said, special commendation goes to Anne Second because of the excellence that I brought to the table, bringing the group that is there and making something of leadership out of them.
Well, it seems that your competitors have something in common. They're both endorsing you yesterday. We had Chrislyn Moore on here yesterday, and she also spoke very highly of you and your capabilities and your personality. She said that you're a real excellent person, so it means something, I guess. Just as I would have told her yesterday, we're now in a dispensation where we're seeing a lot of women stepping forward to take prominent positions of leadership. Do you think that in this case, and this time around, in the TPP, that a woman would lead them?
It is a time for all sorts of new opportunities. A woman is as comfortable as a man in our organization. Somebody of a different ethnicity is as comfortable. Different age groups. I also have Aaron Reed recently would have endorsed me. So I will have different persons coming forward and, explaining, just like my two opponents have done. The key thing for us as we go to the polls is to think about executing a vision, planning, encouraging and molding persons, and moving towards a space of victory. I think just by having the internal elections, I can be tapped on the back for doing an excellent job. But I don't need to toot my own horn, so to speak, because the proof is in the pudding. I appreciate everyone in the party, and I am appealing to all of the voters to find out where their polling station is, and on Sunday, whether you are a registered voter or not, participate in the process. If you're a registered voter, I would like to ask you to campaign for me, and I would like to ask you to join Team Anne, the guiding light of this fledgling party, to give me some more time to continue to build out our political organization, to make it the kind of organization that is not just focused on the management and administrative skills, which all of us have, but focused on building the capacity of our people so that we not only win elections, but we govern well. We have a couple of very popular political parties in the space, and even though they have the election machinery down packed and they win elections year after year, the population is unhappy with how they govern. We are not looking to become that kind of party. We want to be a stable organization, we want to be inclusive, and we want to demonstrate equity. Our side is demonstrating leadership by developing a very clean campaign, ensuring that whatever we do does not bring any harm to our political party or political leader or to any of the candidates, because all of us have potential to become anything. And that is what we want everybody in the party to understand. There is something in it for everybody, but you must have a voice at the table.
Right, and as you said that about inclusivity and everything, Trevor James, and trying to run a clean campaign, would have launched an what should we say? I wouldn't say that it's an attack, but he has gone on the offensive by declaring or asking the question whether or not a husband and wife should be on the sitting party executive. How do you respond to that?
Well, husbands and wives, boyfriends and girlfriends, children and mothers, families work, toil to ensure that assemblymen sit where assemblymen are. Assemblymen aren't occupying those posts because they alone worked. So families came together and worked. So if there are existing husbands, wives, disabled, abled, East Indian, Chinese persons, that is what we bring to the table. Everybody has an equal opportunity according to our constitution. everybody who is a financial and a registered member of the party can contest any position. So we're pleased. We have an Ava McCall, we have a Chrislyn Moore, we have an Natasha Second, we have a Trevor Williamson James, we have a Nazim Bash, Tasha Legal, Otis Noel. So we are an open party that welcomes everyone. Immediately after the conclusion of this internal election, which is a natural rite of passage, we are going to demonstrate to Trinidad and Tobago how an organized body takes leadership into the space to ensure that everyone participates in the good governance process. So we're going to build out our youth council, get those young people energized and involved in the process, build out our women's council, or men's council, and our legislative council. So this is just one step along the way, and you will notice that the campaign generally will be very, very clean and above the standard of other competing parties in the space.
And what do you say to the persons who say, because I would have brought it up to her yesterday, that with Chrislyn Moore as the chairperson for this party, that it's simply a same old party with a new logo? How do you feel about that?
Right, well, that could be a potential perspective of the population. But for us, she's well embraced, right? Every single person who has joined this party belongs to this party. So she can contest for a position. When we're looking at, as a voter, who we're going to place in the position, we want to look at specific things. We want to look at who has a track record in the party of excellence and of actually getting the work done. I get the work done. The three of us, like I said, are good administrators and we are good managers. So we already have that. You want someone in the party that doesn't just have new ideas, but does not create a barrier psychologically to anybody else that they want to come into the party. They want to feel included and they want to feel involved. And I'm the face at this point in time that best attracts all conversations, all sides, and all people. Very neutral, very objective, very all-embracing.
Right, and when it comes to your competitor, Sitting Assemblyman Trevor James, there is the consensus among persons that we've seen on social media stating that too many or too much of the executive members being a part of the executive of the party can create a conflict of interest, right? Whereby it's basically just a repetition of the executive council in the party. How do you respond to that?
It is a concern that for man on the street that there is democracy in the party, right? And because we are a fledgling organization, as we go forward, you really want a nice balance of executive council members and of man in the street. That way we are closer in the policy making and in the decision making to actually making a real difference to the people, and that people don't feel that distance of power from others. The people feel involved and they feel like it's not just any particular group achieving their goals and so on, but all of us have the equal opportunity to achieve. So it's really important to have that, to strike a good balance. The majority, for me, the majority of the members of the party executive should come from the floor, right? And they should have opportunities to also be able to advance and to show their talents and move up in the ranks. However, it is a democracy, and that is why we have a legitimate internal election. We have a strong and commendable team managing our internal elections. Mrs. Councillor Sutika Orr, Richard Alfred, Steve Jack, etc. We have a competent team of people, so we can be confident that we're going to have a good, safe internal election, and that we all can be, proud of what happens at the end. So this is just another stage in our development, and I know that Trinidad and Tobago will be proud of how we manage this internal election.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we have to wrap up our discussion here this morning as we continue with other discussions. But before we go, is there anything that you want to tell Tobagonians and your internal TPP members before they go out to vote on Sunday in that internal election?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. Tobago, if you have been registered to vote, You must come out in your numbers and you must support the team that has demonstrated commitment to the process and that has brought us this far. You must provide a solid gatekeeper to hold our party accountable as we go forward, because we're very young. We want to maintain our stability, we want to be very inclusive of everyone, and we want to demonstrate our equity. For those of you who did not get the opportunity to register yet, but you are supporters, campaign for us. Go out onto the fields, come and work for us at the polling stations. You demonstrate that you understand the importance of us managing our party and our party's affairs. I ask you for your vote.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on with us this morning. Guys, things are heating up in the TPP party, and we see that our candidates are out and they are active and they're asking you for your support, right? We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with another one of their candidates right after this break. See you soon.
Wake up and hear my neighbor, 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never.
Sun Up Tobago is here. Join us on Saturday, July 6th from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Delta Compound Argyle for an unforgettable summer experience. Enjoy an all-inclusive experience with mouth-watering food, coolers are allowed, and best island vibe. This is a tickets-only event. Get your tickets now at Barco, Lust, and Pablo's Argyle. Don't miss out on the event of the summer. Sun Up Tobago, sponsored by Tobago Updates, B-Mobile, State Solutions, and Thorns Place.
Look at people in here tonight.
Innovative, dedicated, impactful. The public service now and beyond. Today we celebrate our stalwarts who have left an enduring legacy on the public service in Tobago. Mrs. Bernard Trim was a nursing assistant from 1969 to 1983. She was promoted to contact tracer at the STI HIV clinic and retired in 2019. Mrs. Bernard Trim says getting clients to come to the clinic for counseling and treatment is her greatest achievement. She says discrimination of HIV patients back then made it very difficult as sex was a taboo topic and HIV was considered a death sentence. She says she feels rewarded by the gratitude expressed from the clients she served.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. Again, I am Chanel Felix, and this morning we're talking about that internal TPP or the Tobago People's Party election. And before we had the break, we had Miss Natasha Second on with us vying for the position of TPP or party chairman. And as we continue this morning's discussion with another candidate for the Tobago People's Party, I have the pleasure of sitting in studio with Mr. Lance Auguste. Good morning, Mr. Auguste.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning to Tobago. Good morning to our TPP family. you're in a blessed place.
All right. Well, I mean, I see things are heating up with this internal election. It's getting pretty competitive, and I'm seeing a lot of individuals that have gotten the confidence to put themselves forward for positions. Tell us, who is Lance Ogis?
Lance Ogis is a citizen, a resident of Tobago, currently a farmer. I'm a registered farmer. I pay a lot of emphasis to the organic format of farming, but I have 30 years experience in the work industry. I started off at T&Tech, spent 7.5 years at T&Tech. I would have done the earlier part of T&Tech, 3.5 years as an apprentice. The other period of that 7.5 years in Tobago distribution. 22 years at TSTT. I entered as a trainee technician and eventually left the company as a senior cable maintenance technician. In spite of concurrently, I would have some experience in law enforcement, spent 10 years as a special reserve police officer, spent 10 years as an industrial relations practitioner at TSTT, and over 40 years in business. If you will add all those years, you'll get 100+, but it's concurrent activities.
Right. Okay, and tell us, why did you decide to put yourself up for the position of mobilization officer?
So the position actually is membership and mobilization. And if we are to really dissect, the roles and responsibilities of that office, we're looking at people. Membership suggests people, and the amalgamation or the coming together of the people. Mobilization speaks of action, and therefore, if we are to marry those two concepts, we are looking at the understanding as to how people operate against the factors of mobilization. If we are successful in bringing those two concepts together, identify the resource, we will have an excellent and efficient organization.
Okay, and when it comes to membership and mobilization, I mean, this is a position that requires you to go out to meet the people, to get people active and involved, and it requires someone with sort of a charismatic personality. Do you think you fit the scope of that job?
I am highly suspicious. In that, whilst in my career, my previous career, it involves a lot of interacting with persons, understanding, identifying entitlements, and meeting with the company in the capacity of an industrial relations practitioner, and really advocating on persons' behalf. On the other hand, we must also have persons, we must communicate to persons their entitlements, privileges. There is a separation. And therefore, in negotiating people's interests, their benefits, and their pursuits, it's a balance between all these factors.
Right. Yeah. So you see yourself in this position as being more of an advocate on behalf of the members, more than being somewhat of a persuasive character to get people on board with the party.
Well, it will be a combination in that the organization strives, survives, and will really, it will prosper based on your membership base. You need the membership in order to drive the whole aspiration, the vision, and the mission of the entity. And knowing that we are in the political space, it is necessary that we bring the understanding, the information to the membership in order to have the action. It is important that people understand their entitlement, they understand what their interests are, in that sometimes we are operating in the space and we are not fully conscious as to what is our interest. It's not well communicated. So it also involves an aspect of education and sensitization. And therefore, the membership and mobilization officer is not a stand-alone entity within the organization. In that you will understand that, for example, you form you form strategic alliance and relationship with education and research. So we are able to really have meaningful communication to create that stimuli, so that we actually have the membership move in a direction that is really productive to their interests and their benefits.
All right. Another thing that has come up is basically the fact that this is a new party, it's a new election, and so popularity is really behind a number of persons who are already a part of the executive, and then you have members who and may not be as popular that are putting themselves out there. Do you think that it is a disadvantage to the members of the party who may not have the same level of popularity as the sitting secretaries that are putting themselves up for the executive? And how do you feel about sitting executives being a core part of the executive for the party?
In terms of sitting executives, I think it's a case of capacity. And an individual should be conscious of their capacity, and there may be circumstances that will limit your capacity temporarily. In terms of popularity, one of the things I'm really satisfied about is when I look at the persons contesting the other candidates. I feel good. Each person will have their mannerism, they will have their charisma, they will have their strengths and their weaknesses. But I don't see at all any candidate being incompetent of the task. Nevertheless, the election process, that process of democracy must take place, and it is more or less as each candidate is making a proposal to the membership as to my mannerism, as to my plan or my style, my methodology in executing the roles and responsibility of the office that I am vying for.
Right. And how do you feel about going up against persons like Otis Noel, person they would have been a part of the foundation of the party, and then I think you're also going up against Akel Franklin, who is one of the personal staff of the chief secretary. How do you feel about going up against, as well as Ava McCall, I believe, is also vying for this position?
Oh, yes.
Right. So how do you feel about your competitors? How do you feel about going up against them?
Well, for me, the persons vying for the position of membership and mobilization, Akel Franklin, Lance Ogis, Ava McCall, Kelton Thomas. All these persons are persons with excellent competence. It is, they will have their mannerism, their way, their style. I've worked personally with Akel. He was my team lead in us setting up the district council. And I was impressed with his focus. As a young individual, he's younger than I, and I was impressed with his focus. Ava McCall, she will not hesitate a second in order to express her opinion and her way of pursuit. Kelton Thomas I've known a while. I have no record of him ever bringing advice, that was counterproductive. So therefore, what we have is a slate of competent, able persons.
So Otis Noel is not going up for this position?
Oh no, Otis Noel is not in membership, is not vying for membership and
mobilization. He's going for elections officer.
Correct.
Elections
yes.
officer, okay.
Yeah. So therefore, and one of the blessings, one of the great benefit of this election, it's only at the end of the day, the officer is only the team lead or the head person in the office of that position. We will need these persons to build out an extended executive. So at no means is it that after this election it's all done and your competencies, your skills, your uniqueness is not needed. You are needed. We are all needed going forward in the organization.
Right. And I in my conversation with Miss Natasha Second previously, yes, she spoke about the fact that she has created a team or a slate for the election guiding light. Are you a part of any slates?
I'm not a part of slate. In my opinion, in any concept, there are the advantages and disadvantages. I think one of the disadvantages of slate is that there can be a limited room or a resilience to accommodation in event that your slate doesn't make it through. One of the advantages of a slate is that the weaker persons will benefit from the strengths of those with stronger or greater capacity. So there are advantages and disadvantages, but in my opinion, I will probably somewhat tend to look in the direction of an elective process against a selective process.
Okay, and we see that this election has attracted a number of different kind of people. We even see a former political leader also vying for the position of chairman in the person of Attorney Chrislyn Moore. But there is the consensus from individuals within the party and without that with her as the chairperson, you know, the party seems like it's an old party with a new logo. How do you feel about, you know, persons feeling this way about the individuals and the executive that come from a previous party?
There will always be a perspective, and perspective are formed and generated from experiences, school of thought, orientation. I think I'm from a relatively mix between old and new school. And I'm saying that in processes like these, what we have also are ambiguities, concerns, but at the end of the day, what contributes to the success is an open-minded approach. Let us go forward. We will not really allow some ambiguities and some uncertainties to create for us a whirlwind of trauma. We take it one day at a time. We are result and solution oriented, and where there is a will, there is a way.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on this morning, and thank you for speaking so highly of your competitors and your fellow party members. It is to be commended. We want to thank you for your time this morning, guys. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.
I can't live without you, I can't be without you for too long. Cause when I'm around you, I feel like the heavens just come down. I feel it in my soul every time we on the road is a miracle.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash in transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Deltec Distributors Weekend Special Wings Friday. 3 pounds wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT Soup Saturday. 2 pounds cube beef, 2 pounds cow heel, 2 pounds chicken foot, 2 pounds pigtail, or smoked bone. Special $150. Super Sunday. 3 pounds leg and thigh chicken, 3 pounds sliced pork, 3 pounds lamb slice, 3 pounds cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am Chanel Felix, and as we continue with this morning's conversations, we are talking about that October 2024 Carnival. And if you have not been here on the ground or in the environment to feel the vibe is alive. We've had a number of band launches taking place even on Thursday of last week. We saw the official launch of the Tobago Carnival, and things are heating up. We're seeing a number of events taking place on the island right now, and the spirit of Carnival is in the air. As the spirit is in the air, there is also a perfect storm brewing. This morning I am speaking with Mr. Atiba DeLeon of Aradia Mass Band, and you guys are having your band launch very soon. Good morning and welcome to Tobago Updates.
Good morning, thanks for having me.
All right, so talk to us about this perfect storm.
Perfect storm, that's our theme for 2024 Tobago Carnival. It's a lot of storytelling, right? It's a lot of history behind it. Anybody who knows how Arcadia operate, we like to dive into that aspect of it. So the perfect storm is just that, where the island was under some stress, and we had to it took the perfect storm to really breathe life back into it.
Right. Well, I mean, that feeds into my next question, because I was about to ask, you know, where is Arcadia now? We saw Arcadia very present, very prominent in that first rendition of the Tobago Carnival. Then you guys took a step back last year, and now in 2024, we are seeing that you are coming forward with the perfect storm. Tell us about the journey to the perfect storm.
Right. So Arcadia took a lot of how to put it, some transition, some evolution, some different aspects of Arcadia. So 2022, we were present, very present. We were out there on the road. We brought that year we did Ancestry and Legacy. However, last year we took a step back and more or less scanned the landscape, understanding that what the Tobago Carnival really needs and how can we immerse ourselves in it, but outside of that, what is the direction of the band? We found that, you know, we don't want to be caught up in just doing what everybody else is doing. And how do we carve and shape our own identity? And we had to do a lot of house cleaning, a lot of deep introspection, and we are back here now with a different taste or twist on how mass should look for us. So we are very cultural. So this year, early up this year for February Carnival, we were very present with kiddies, right? Bringing some sailor mass, that traditional aspect of it. And for October, expect that same sort of settings where we are more on the traditional side. However, but we have learned and formulate our own product, which will be very unique to the carnival space, not only in Tobago, but globally.
Okay. And talk to us about some of your partners this time around, as well as your executive that is working to bring forward this Arcadia Mass.
All right. So we have a lot of partners that we have on board. Some I will say. So for example, like we already have a long-lasting relationship with the TTT network, Next 99.1. We also have those partnership with the Angostura, those partnerships. And this year we are doing a lot of partnering with, for example, Blue Heron, which is a local company in Tobago here. Our committee, we have our chief project officer for this entire thing, we have Miss Kenorian Smith. And then we have our creative director, which is some of the persons. We have a nice big team. Our creative director this year that charts the way and how we put out our stuff, which is Keelan Whitlock. And then we have our designer, our dedicated designer in Aaron, right? He's from Trinidad. right? But bringing that our vision to life.
All right. And what type of responses are you expecting from the Tobago public to Arcadia this time around?
I don't have any expectation, honestly. However, this product that we are putting out this year is very dear to our hearts. It's something that we work from before last year to now. We've been working on to make sure we get it right. However, what I do expect is for persons to now be somewhat blown away, or if you enjoy creativity and you enjoy, that uniqueness in mass, I think it's something that persons will be appreciative of, and it's something I believe that can carve the way how Tobago Carnival is viewed.
Right. So come this Saturday, you guys are having a band launch at Toys Fuzzy Panda, that's opposite the Gulf City Mall in Lowlands. Tell us a bit about that start time and what we can expect from the launch.
Right. So we expect to start on time, which is at 9 p.m. Right. That launch will be taken in the form of a fashion show, a rip the runway type of settings. It will be a two-part launch, which will be one from a viewing party, and then one of a catwalk band launch type settings, but not the typical band launch with a stage and a thing, but more or less like a rip the runway type setting.
So more of a fashion show type of display.
Correct, and that's the model that we want to move forward with. So we have a viewing party, which is the actual launch, which is somewhat of some theater there.
Okay.
Right, so we are bringing some theater into the carnival, and something I think persons can be excited and look forward to.
All right, that's very interesting. It's interesting that you're bringing a different spin, to how the mass is being displayed. Why do you think it's, you spoke about it. So you spoke about the fact that you guys are trying to create your own lane, create your own identity, and have a specific position in the mass market here in Tobago. So when you talk about that level of positioning, where do you guys want to position yourself?
Right, so I'll just give you a brief synopsis. So for example, we had multiple persons came to us that wanted to do sections and so on, and we had some conversation. Some of those things didn't really come to fruition because of our direction, because we are very strong and very firm in the direction we are heading. The identity we have taken up is something that we are very passionate about and we refuse to compromise on. So positioning in the landscape of Tobago, to put it in for better words, think about traditional mass, we know about those bands, and think about the modernity of the carnival, which is we know about the sexiness and so forth, and marrying the two. And my creative director and my chief project officer, all three of us came up with a term that we call finding a sweet spot. And that sweet spot of marrying both the traditional aspect, which is the Peter Minshall type mass, and marrying that with that modernity of the what people now have, the bikinis and feathers. So that marriage there in between there is where we have found our sweet spot, and it's something that we are very passionate about that could change the way mass is viewed globally, not only in Tobago, but how people look at it. And from my viewing of those costumes thus far, I'm normally not easily moved with mass because I've seen a lot, but I am moved. And
right. I think one of the things that Tobagonians are looking forward to seeing where Carnival is concerned, especially as we try to develop the festival, is a certain level of, well, for me, I can speak for myself particularly, is a higher level of quality in the creativity of the costumes that we're seeing. right? And not just settling for a simplistic, homemade looking type of costume because it's Tobago and we're small and we're just starting. People want to see that level of intricacy in the designs and complexity in what we're seeing displayed in the costume making.
I could second that, and that is one of my pet peeves. Like going to band launches, seeing costumes, not only in Tobago but globally. It's like somebody tell you it's a bird, somebody tell you it's a plane, and all have the same look. And something that people are complaining about. So I'm telling you this is a plane, but I'm not seeing a plane. I'm not seeing engine. I'm not seeing nothing. Nothing looking like a shape, nothing like a plane. And one of the problems I have faced and I am very passionate about is if we have a theme and this is the section, I want it to look like what it's supposed to look like, but also the creativity level is something I refuse and my team refuse to compromise on. Is from that creative standpoint, we want pieces that when a person play mass, they mustn't even want to throw away their headpiece, their back piece. There's something that they must keep in the living room, and they might have as a souvenir because of the creativity behind it. And that's the direction we have gone in terms of where we moving forward. Anything that we do, it must have that level of creativity behind it.
All right. And as we wrap up this morning's discussion, is there anything you want to say to Tobagonians to encourage them to come out on Saturday night, starting at 9 p.m. at Toys? Now, we know Toys is kind of a compact space. How is the layout going to be? Where a person's going to park? Where are they going to stand to view? What type of numbers are expected to be there?
Right. The settings for Toys is one of our intimate settings. Primarily when you have a band launch, some band launches when you have stage and so on, we find that the costume sometimes is being lost. We find that the patrons might be liming and then studying what's going on. We want to have that intimate setting. So part of the half of the car park thereabout is where we will be stationed, set up the compact space in and around the space. You will have runway, and that runway is where the models will now portray that costume, and so that person could see those costumes up close and personal rather than viewing from the back of the crowd on a stage. And the lighting and all these things, it might dazzle your eyes, but you're not getting to see the intricate details and all that nice stuff that you could actually see yourself in this stuff. And also what you could expect is what we have done with our costume is cater for all body types, right? So how we put it is a unique, modern, traditional sexiness that we have, which is a person who have a child, 2 children, they could afford to play the young professional who may not want to be overly exposed because he might be a teacher, he might be a lawyer, doctor, and don't want to be viewed that way. We have those options available and they will be on display. And you're slim, you're thick, everybody could feel included.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. We had Atiba here. Good morning again, and thank you for being here on Good Morning Tobago.
Thank you for having me.
And we look forward to the Perfect Storm on June the 29th, which is this Saturday night at Toys at Lowlands, opposite the Gulf City Mall. Guys, be sure to come out and be a part of the experience of Arcadia's presentation for October Carnival 2024. Unfortunately, this is where we wrap up this morning's discussions. We want to thank you for being a part of our conversations this morning. I want to thank you to the 2 TPP candidates that were here this morning, Ms. Natasha Second, as well as Mr. Lance Auguste, who was here and vying for different positions on the executive in their internal elections on Sunday. So again, I want to thank you guys for being a part of the conversation. Thank you for liking, sharing, and commenting, and doing all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster on the island of Tobago. Thank you.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the
Dance Ensemble Tobago presents our signature event, a festival of dancing, Tobago Dance Sport Championship and Dancing with the Caribbean Stars. Dance in with DNA, our 11th edition, Saturday, July 6th at 5 p.m., Shore Park Cultural Complex. Featured in this year's lineup, Assemblyman Trevor James, Mrs. Petal Daniel Benoit, Mrs. Diane Baker Henry, Miss Davia Chambers, Miss Leslie Ann Ellis, and Miss Sinel Dempster. Limited early bird tickets, adults $150, after party only $100. Children pay $75 at the door. You don't want to miss this one. Get your tickets early from Dance Ensemble class members, D&D Jewelers at Tobago United Cooperative, Milford 24 Gas Station Canaan, and the Shore Park Cultural Complex box office. For more information, contact Nikisha White at 772-9049 or Nelisa Dick 340-5758.